Hello, good evening. A coroner in Stoke-on-Trent is investigating the death of a 3-month-old girl who was sent home from A&E hours before her death. Esme Gloucester was taken to the Royal Stoke University Hospital on December the 15th with a suspected chest infection and died the next morning. Callum Watkinson reports.
As 3-month-old, Esme Gloucester's grandfather carries her tiny coffin towards an early grave. His heart is heavy with the knowledge that she was in A&E in Stoke-on-Trent a few hours before her death and was sent home. It was to that same hospital that she was taken and pronounced dead the following morning.
They would have, because at one point they were great.
And there that every mother's worst nightmare came true for 20-year-old Alicia Pullen.
Stayed blue.
Yeah.
That's what there was, blue.
I had my fingers crossed the whole way. And you know, then I got there and I just knew from the man, his face, like, I just needed to hear it, for it to sort of be real. They brought her in and the woman's came through the door, and I've just looked, I've fell to the floor. I couldn't believe what was going on. I just could not believe that I'm going to hold my baby now in my arms, dead. It was horrible, and it's horrible. It's horrible.
I said, Bab, don't worry. She's in good care. She's with the experts. Everything else, they will look after her. And then to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to Esme stop breathing, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. I'm thinking, well, hang on. Last night she was in A&E.
Esme was here at the Royal Stoke University Hospital for 2.5 hours on December the 15th. Her family say they were told she had a chest infection and would recover at home. The local coroner has started an investigation and there may yet be an inquest. A preliminary post-mortem examination was inconclusive. If that finding remains unchanged by the current coroner's investigation, that effectively will make this a case of sudden infant death syndrome, or cot death. Cot death can be triggered by the sort of minor illness that Esme presented with, according to the hospital's own authority on the syndrome. But that doesn't mean that illness would warrant a hospital admission.
Minor illnesses, minor symptoms are very common in babies anyway, and if you look at cot death victims who are subsequently classified as having died of SIDS, it's common that there are going to be minor symptoms before such a death arises.
She made me so proud.
Clinging now to photos and mobile phone videos, Alicia will find a conclusion of SIDS hard to accept. Not least because Esme had been taken to an out-of-hours urgent care centre, also in Stoke, with the same symptoms the day before.
He's smiling. We took our little girl to hospital.
On 2 occasions.
On 2 occasions. Well, to 2 professionals say, I feel they could have done more.
Yeah.
They could have done so much more to prevent whatever's happened to her.
The law does require an investigating coroner to look at events leading up to the death in question, but this family may have to wait several weeks or even months for his conclusions as they begin the slow process of coming to terms with what they've lost. Callum Watkinson, ITV News.
Next, police investigating the disappearance of a woman who went missing in Coventry have found a body. 34-year-old Samina Imam was last seen at Costco in Tile Hall on Christmas Eve. Police found the body while searching an allotment site in Leicestershire. It hasn't yet been formally identified. 2 people have already been charged with her murder. The NEC Group, which was owned by Birmingham City Council, has been sold to private equity firm LDC, Lloyds Development Capital, for £307 million. The council will continue to own the land, but the business, including the NEC exhibition halls and the Genting and Barclaycard concert arenas, have been bought by the private equity company, which is part of the Lloyds Banking Group. The NEC says it wants to expand and buy more businesses.
all that land which is there, the freehold which is there, is still retained by the City Council and therefore is of value to the City Council. Indeed, at the NEC, the unused land can be clawed back by us if we want to introduce further development on that NEC site. The land on the other side of the M42 isn't part of the deal, and that stays with us.
LDC understand our strategy. They understand we've got to grow our business at home. They understand the opportunities that can bring both for them and us as a company. So it's a good deal. It's a British company buying another great British company for the benefit of the people in Britain.
Now, Tesco has agreed to move forward quickly with plans for the redevelopment of the former Wolverhampton Royal Hospital after it decided not to convert the building into a new superstore. Council officials and one of the city's MPs met with representatives of the supermarket chain earlier today to decide what will happen to the site, which has been derelict for more than a decade. Andy Bevan reports.
This was the promise, a £65 million Tesco superstore rising from the remains of the old Wolverhampton Royal Hospital. And this is the reality after the supermarket chain scrapped its plans along with 48 other proposed new outlets. The Royal opened in 1849 and was one of the first hospitals in the country to have a motorised ambulance. It treated injured soldiers during the First World War and served the people of Wolverhampton until 1997. Tesco bought the site in 2001, but 14 years on, and following a downturn in the fortunes of Britain's biggest retailer, the development and the 500 jobs that would probably have come to the All Saints area of the city are now off the table. Today, Wolverhampton MP Pat McFadden, along with representatives of the City Council, met with Tesco to thrash out the future of the site. Details are still in discussion, but the meeting was described as amicable and constructive.
I think it's a little bit early to put specifics around. We've got a few ideas and we've had a few contacts over the last few days, as have they, and it's a case of coming together and coming forward with the right plan. I think residential will play a big part, but we want uses that will complement what's happening in the city centre, which is just across the road there. So there's a range of uses we'll be looking at.
I don't know exactly what will happen with this site, but the one outcome I want to avoid is it lying fallow and undeveloped for years in the future. We need investment in this site, we need employment if we can get it, but even if it's not employment, we need it brought back to positive use as soon as possible.
Tesco has also ditched plans for another superstore on this site close to the centre of Birmingham, as well as one in Burton-upon-Trent. Regarding the Wolverhampton site, this afternoon, as part of a joint statement from all concerned, Tesco said it's committed to bringing forward the development of the site as soon as possible and engaging with the local community throughout the process. At the first available opportunity, they said, we will update the local community on progress and the potential viable uses for the site. Work is already underway on restoring the shell of this Grade 2 listed building under an existing agreement with Tesco, who plan to carry on with those works. It could end up as apartments, it could end up as offices, but it certainly won't end up as a supermarket. Andy Bevan, ITV News.
Now, the Beagle 2 spacecraft that was sent to explore Mars has been found more than 11 years after contact with it was lost. Control for the mission was coordinated by teams at Leicester's National Space Centre. Communication with the craft failed minutes before it was due to land on the Red Planet on Christmas Day in 2003. But now, more than a decade on, it's been found partially deployed 3 miles from where it was supposed to land.
It does prove that UK can do innovative science and engineering in space. Not just Beagle 2, there are lots of innovative projects out there that the UK is involved with. And perhaps more importantly from my point of view, space science can inspire the next generation of children, scientists and engineers, and train them.
Well, finally tonight, it's a bit early to be thinking of holidays maybe, but one photographer has set the bar rather high with his exploits on his latest overseas trip. He's got a selfie with a shark. Aaron Gukowski from Leamington Spa actually survived a smack in the face from a black-tipped shark to take the picture while diving in South Africa. The footage has been released in an attempt to highlight the plight of the species. All right, bad news if you're off shark spotting this weekend. With the details, here's Janelle Aldred.
What's in store for today? ITV Local Weather, sponsored by Centre Parks.
Hello, we've got a very cold weekend on the way. The threat of a wintry shower is never too far away. The Met Office have issued a weather warning, that's for snow and for ice, and that's in place until tomorrow at midday. But very cold tonight with temperatures going as low as -2, and it's a cold start to tomorrow as well. By the time we get into the afternoon, that weather warning will have gone away, and we're also expecting to see the sun coming out, seeing a bit of brightness, but highs of just 4 to 5 Celsius. On Sunday, we could see more heavy rain or snow. Do stay tuned to the forecast. That's all for now. Good night.
ITV Local Weather, sponsored by Centre Parks.
Well, that's all we have time for tonight. Don't forget to check out our website to get live news updates from across the Central region this weekend. The address is on the screen now, itv.com/central. For now, though, from the team here, enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.